Hi guys, Daniel here, and I am here to do a tutorial on this Alita head rig that I did a while back. I'll show you how to do the head rotation, the facial features, excuse me, and I'll show you how I rigged it all up in Duik. So let's start off the eyes. I think that's the most interesting part. I won't go into all the artwork that I did to make this. I'll take a little too long, but I'll show you what I did exactly to rig it. So with Duik Basel, it makes it really easy. So all I did was set up 3 positions for the eyes. So here's the mid position, or not mid position, but the mid keyframe here that you can see is just like the standard staring at you type of deal. So just eyes normally, like normal open, and then we go off to the left, and you see the eyes got wider. So those keyframes are set up to make the eyes wider. And then you go to the right, that's close and, to blink. So we got those keyframes all set up. So I want each eye to be able to work on its own. So to have its own controller. So what I had to do is, so this would be the her left, my right eye. Okay, so what you got to do is go into the connector right here, pick a slider, and then it will give you a slider. Oh no, I need my switches. All right, so I'm gonna just scale this up, put it over here. And as you see right now, it doesn't do anything, but then I'm gonna highlight all the keyframes that I want attached to that slider, and then hit connect selected properties. All right, and now when I move the slider, it moves that eye independent. It just moves that eye. So, if you want to wink and do all that. So I'll go ahead and just go ahead and create a new one. So let's set this to 400 to give it a nice even number. Luckily with Duik Basel, when you grab the slider, you can just kind of move it wherever you need to without it affecting anything important. All right. So now let's pick all the properties I want to move for this eye. So it would be this eye, or for this eyelid. This, the matte, this, and then pick this slider right here. I'll make sure, okay. And then connect, select the properties. And then boom. So what's cool about this is that if you turn it off, you can actually go in here and just turn off the value connector if something is not working right, and then you can just, and then it will totally like break the connection, and then you can just readjust the keyframes however you need to. So that's a really cool feature of Duik. But let me just go ahead and turn that value thing back on. Great. All right. Now got that. Let's take a look at the eyeball. All right. So with the eye here, now with the eye here, you're gonna have to set up a few things. Let's just bring this back real quick so I can unalpha that to the matte so we can see what's going on. All right. So the first thing you have to do is separate the, you have to open up the position panel, position property, and then you separate the dimensions. That way you get the X and the Y position. So for the X position, you're gonna set it to go, you know what? I'm just gonna delete these real quick. All right, I'll start this from scratch. Okay, so what you gotta do with the eye is, first off, open up the position property of the eye, separate the dimensions so you get the X and Y, set keyframes there, Then go over here. Oh, just set it up for the X for now. And then I'll go over here. The frame count that I'm doing is about, they're 2 frames away from each other. That's kind of an arbitrary decision that I made. You can make it 5 frames away from each other, 10, doesn't really matter. But okay, so we got the X positions, all keyframed. So let's say we wanted to bring this I back. This will determine where I want to go. So with the X, I want to go you need to go as far left as you would want to go. On this left, on the keyframe, that would be, to the left of the center. Then back to center, go to the right, and then you go as far right as you want to. Great. Then we go back into the connector and we hit this controller right here, which will bring out this kind of joystick looking thing. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. 300. Great. So here's this. And since that is the joystick selected right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and rig the X properties to this. So what you have to do is make sure you highlight all those keyframes, and then right here, make sure it's set to X. It defaults to X axis, but make sure it's set to that. And then hit connect the selected properties to this rig. Now we have this working. Boom. That's pretty cool. So the next step would be to, we go back to the center, set keyframes there, make sure the keyframes are the exact same positions as would be the X. All right, so we got those keyframes there, and now we have to actually decide where we want the eye to go. But let's start by going to the slider, or the thing that's controlling the eye, the controller that's controlling the eye. Turn this off so it doesn't kind of get in the way. So once you turn that off, it also breaks the connection. All right, so with Y, let's go as high as we want with Y. Well, let's just say right there. Okay. So to the left of the center, go up, and then to the right of center, you go down. So now we go down as far as we want. Let's say right there, and then we just highlight those. Make sure you change the X axis to Y axis, and then hit connect properties. Great. Now, if you go back to the slider and check out the effects on its effects controller, you'll see that it has the controller too. So we can just set that to Y and set this one to X, so we know what we're looking at. And you can turn that back on, and then you can see you got it working how you would want. Great. Awesome. The only issue is that I'm an idiot and I forgot to do the other eye at the same time. So what's really great about this though is that I don't have to delete the controller. I can just reset it up. So let's go here and turn it on. So turn this on. I'll unalpha this as well so we can see the eye. There we go. Awesome. All right, so I already have these keyframes set up to where I want them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and connect them to the rig itself. All right, so it's still selected on that rig. And the way to do that is just by hitting this to make sure you have the 2D slider selected. So do that and then highlight all your X position property keyframes, connect, and then go here. I did that wrong. Don't do it wrong. I forgot to set that back to X. All right, now connect it. Great. And then go here, highlight these, then switch this to Y, and connect. All right, so that should have, yep, Look at that. Now they're both rigged. Awesome. Okay, now I'm going to re-alpha these to matte so they can just, boom, be within that white. And then I will go ahead and just unsolo everything. I can move this down so it's on the way. So this is one position and this is another position. So the only thing I did to rig these or to animate these, I just wanted them to go up and down and kind of rotate when they go up and rotate out. Rotate when they go up and rotate when they go down. That was the only real animation I had with them. So what I can do is I can just get one of these slider controllers again. Set this controller to 300, and I'm being kind of fast with this. It would be good to actually like rename some of these things, like eyebrow controller. Great. So with this, all I'm going to do is just highlight both of these because I just want them all to work on one slider, and just connect the properties. And the midpoint, it's going to be just in between what these two keyframes have. So I'm just going to close everything. So yeah, now I have that all rigged up. Awesome. Okay, now that we have the facial stuff done for the character, we are ready to rig it to this face. All right, so the trick here was to get that nice depth with her head turn was to actually put it on a 3D object. So right now this is just a solid or a shape layer that I have that's in a circle, and it is, I'll show you how what I did with this in order to kind of give it the illusion that of her kind of shifting her head. So what I did here is actually I'll show you 2 ways to do this. One way being the free way, and the other way if you have Element 3D from Video Copilot. I'll show you how to do it the free way first. Okay, so what I did is that I got this rig right here and I brought an effect in. Let's see if I can find the effect. All right, effects and presets. Yeah, that's not where I want it. Okay. Okay, and the effect I used was CC Sphere. All right, the lighting. Ooh. Turn the diffuse down all the way to 0, turn the ambient up all the way to 100 to get it the flat look that you would probably want. Okay, let's see if I can make some room here so we can actually see what I'm doing. The problem with this is that you can't really map the face how you would really like it on a sphere without, well, the only way to try to remedy that is to go into the composition that you're working with for the face rig and making the composition just way bigger. So it doesn't wrap, so you can try to get more of the facial features in front of the face as opposed to it like the eyes being on the side of the head. So right now the composition is already set to 3000. It's pretty high, but we can, I mean, let's see what 6000 looks like. Right now the composition of the actual head rig in here. All right, so I have a shape layer that kind of takes up that whole space, so it's white all around. But in this comp right here, you can is actually 1500 by 1500. But yeah, see how much of a difference I made. That so I doubled the composition size, and now I have like the face on here, and I can make, luckily I can make the sphere a little bit bigger. Let's see here. Also, this kind of bogs down the computer. All right. Maybe I'll keep it. I probably have to reposition it too. All right. So here, you can work with this. It's not the worst. Especially being like a free solution. This definitely will work. So whatever you do to the facial rig, let's say let's get her to blink. Oop. It will update eventually. There we go. It'll update in here. So what I did was to move the head around, I set up the 2D slider. Whoops. The 2D slider. Had that around over here. And let's see, we go to the midpoint right here, along with like the hair and the face and the shape of the jaw and everything. I went ahead and just rigged everything to this head rotation rig. So let me put this behind the hair, behind all the hair, yeah, like that. And then you can set these within CC Sphere, you can set these with the head rig. At least the X and the Z axis. Oh, I'm sorry, the X and the Y axis. So right here, let me make it so you can see. I have this animating. Another cool thing about Duik Bassel is that the 2D slider actually works with path shapes too, or path keyframes from shape layers. It's super nice. So, all right, let's say this is the center, and I want this head to be looking forward. So what I got to do is set these keyframes right here. I'll hit U to bring those up, and then okay, now I want it to look left. So I see, whoops, the y-axis, I'll make it look left, and there you go. It looks like it now looks like she's actually looking left, and it looks like that shape layer that I have underneath this head shape is what makes it look like she's kind of have that chin turning as well. All right, and then let me go ahead and get rid of that one. I'll make her look the other way. And actually, let's keep this clean. So let's make that -40, and then we'll make this +40. Okay. Now I can set this up with that 2D slider, and so the 2D slider is already selected, so all I got to do is connect the properties, undo that, and now boom, we got the head turn. Awesome. Now let's set it to so she can look up. So this will be the center. This keyframe will be looking up, and this keyframe will be her looking down. All right, then we just highlight those, set the axis to Y, and then connect to center. I'm sorry, connect to controller, the properties controller. Okay, so now let's see if I click this. Now she's looking up. And with that shape on, it also considers these shape layers. So even if she's looking up and this way, that shape layer is still going to turn with her to enter like that jaw, or the jaw or the chin, as you can see. And then we have her looking down. Great. So this is how you can do it with a CC sphere, as opposed to what I did with which was with element. So let me go ahead and just delete all these, all this stuff. I'm gonna get rid of CC sphere. I'm gonna change the composition of this back to 3000. That's definitely not 3000. 3000. Great. All right, back to what it was. Get rid of this expression as well, so I can show you what I did here. So I'm just gonna turn this bad boy off. So the first thing you do is get a solid to put your element 3D on. So video copilot element, and then go to scene setup and create a sphere. Give it a couple more segments so it's not so, it doesn't look too choppy. I'm just gonna go there, 30. I'll smooth it out. I'll set the lighting here from single light to 100 ambient. Hit OK. And then I will go to the render settings, lighting, set this to 100 ambient. Oh, I forgot to do one more thing. And that was to set the texture from physical to standard. And that way you can get it to look pretty, not pretty, you can get it to look very flat. And the next thing you need to do is to set the iRig that we made to a texture map. So what you got to do is go to custom layers, custom texture maps, and then you select your iRig comp, select, and then just go ahead and collapse that, go back into scene selections, and then you click this, was it the sphere or the texture, I'm sorry, and then go to diffuse. Right now it says non-set, click that, excuse me, and then you go to the custom layer 1 iRig, hit OK, boom, and now you have this. Obviously that looks a little too stretched out, so what you can do is if you click on the sphere model, we can just rename that to head. We can rename that to head, and then we have to, what's nice about using this over CC sphere is that you can actually kind of work with the UV mapping to help get the look that you want. So I'm going to set this and set this. No, it's already set to 1. Then offset it -0.02, and then 0.01. These are numbers I already predetermined for myself. I'm sure it's gonna be different with whatever project you're working with. So let me just kind of take a look here. All right, very good, very good. Okay, great. So hit OK. And now we have the sphere. It's pretty small. We can make that bigger. The next step I would do is actually, let's go back into scene selection. Let's actually just go ahead and make the sphere itself bigger, just to have it a little easier to work with. Let's see. It is currently 1 in diameter. Let's just double that, see what that looks like. Okay. All right, I'll keep it there for now. And then next thing you need to do is create a null for the sphere. So what you do is you go to group 1, group utilities, create group null, create, and then you're going to get a null object that allows you to easily work with the sphere itself. So this moves the position, but we're going to mess with the rotation right now, and that's what's going to be part of the rig. So the actual sphere will be on the solid that you put the element 3D on. So let's just bring that down behind the hair and everything. And it looks like we're gonna have to move it up a bit. So position, move it up, and I'm gonna try to move it so it's kind of blends in with the shape layer that's gonna be in front of. So you don't want to see the sphere itself. You want it just the shape layer, that so you can actually see the shape of the chin animating. And you can even change the scale a little bit too if you like. All right. So let's we can go ahead and reset up the positions of the face. All right. Okay, we'll go ahead and make another 2D slider. Yeah, this tutorial is kind of just for the head rotation, so that's what I'm just going to show you. I won't mess with the hair, and I'm not very proud of it anyway, so. So I didn't change the shape path animations for these, so those are still doing its thing. But I do want to rig, obviously, the element 3D face now. So let's hit R for the rotations. What I'm going to rotate is just the X and the Y axis. So I'm just going to go ahead and keyframe whatever I need, or where it's going to be position wise, to make sure it matches up with this. All right, so with the X rotation, it's the Y that actually you need to work with. Okay, so the Y rotation. So let's go. I had it at 40 before, so the head shape is a little different. So we can probably push it a little further. Let's go with 45. Yeah, we'll go with 45, and then over here make it go negative 45 to make her look the other way. Okay. And now we want her to look up. So let's push as high as we can. Let's go negative 40. Let's see what that looks like. That's pretty high. Let's do it. All right. And then looking down. Ooh, that's looking a little weird. I kind of want to keep her mouth. So we'll just go as far as there. So 25 maybe? Yeah, we'll go 25. So high up, or up is 40, negative 40, and down is 20. Okay. So we're going to have to rig, first off, the x-axis. Or yeah, the X. And with when it's a sphere or a 3D object like this, it's kind of backwards from what you think. The Y-axis is actually what's going to be messing with like the left and right rotation. So we'll highlight those, and then we'll highlight these for the X-axis. Then we connect those properties to the slider. Oh, I kept the slider here. Let's bring that over here. And now, when we mess with this, we have the head turn. They're pretty good. It's not perfect. Like right there, it's a little different than it is over here, as you can tell. So I didn't do the cleanest job with this since it was my first time. Not proud of that, but it is what it is. All right, next we need to do the Y. So we don't need to mess with the, I should have said this earlier, but we don't need to mess with the shape layers again. We just gonna worry about the Y. Even though this says X, it's different than what you think, because it's a 3D object. It's the X actually makes it go up and down. So we highlight that. Then we go to the axis, X, and then connect selected properties. And now that should be attached to this rig as well. Look at that. Now she's looking everywhere. Yeah, that's right. Now you got the head turn. Okay. And yeah, yeah, you can set up some other crazy stuff. You can rig the hair from the back of the hair, the front of the hair, to really give it more of a 3D look, more depth to it. And yeah, so using the plugin Duic Bassel, there's a lot of potential what you can do with it. It's such a great plugin. Just go to their website. It's a completely free plugin too. You can donate money to them, but yeah, they do hand out this plugin for free. I think it's a must have for anyone who wants to get into rigging in any sort of way. And even if you don't want to do rigging, it's these controllers and everything are still freaking awesome. You can do so much with them. So yeah, that is the head rig tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully I can answer them. I hope this is my first tutorial, so hopefully it wasn't too incoherent and confusing. I kind of went in this expecting people to at least know a little bit about After Effects. So, all right, guys, that's it. Until next time, I'll see you guys. Bye.